All right, we now welcome on Zan Olojede. You can check out his Twitter page at Zan Olojede. We'll put it all in the Twitter or the podcast description and everything. At Duke in the NBA account. I'm sure you know him. He's been on before. How you doing, man? It's been a minute.
Great. I'm great. I'm excited to be back, man. It's a great week to be back. The best week of the year for Duke basketball.
It is the best week of the year. Let's start out first. Duke dominates Pitt last night. We're recording this Wednesday night. I mean, if we play like that, we're never going to lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they're hitting threes like that, they've done it in back-to-back games, and they blew out both teams with ease. And although it's Syracuse and Pitt, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Though if they do play like that against better teams, I still feel like it's going to be the same result. You know, we kind of got a glimpse of that.
This is all I'll talk about in the Duke Pitt game because I mean, there's not much to talk about. After watching that, are you glad seeing that Capel is not the next Duke coach? Because I know you. Last time we talked, you were on the train. I want Capel in there because the recruiting and everything.
Yeah, but I mean, I think my draw to Capel really was that everybody supported him too. So like when I've talked to like Quinn Cook and all these former guys, everyone has said Capel. Like before the decision was made, like everyone was like rooting for Capel. So I kind of just jumped on the bandwagon too. Obviously, I don't think his track record has helped it. With Oklahoma now with Blake Griffin, and even now so with Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh, it's hard to save that program. Like that program is terrible.
So how do you feel about Shire then in that regard? You think he'll be Duke's answer following Coach K?
Yeah, I've kind of warmed up to Shire. Initially, I was like, but I mean, at the end of the day, like I said with Capel, Shire's an elite recruiter, and he's gonna get the talent to Duke regardless. So I think once you have the talent, as talented as Duke teams are, like it's very hard to be. Not obviously, it's hard to win a championship, but it's very hard to fail. Like it's very hard to just completely tank with the type of talent they bring in. So I'm excited for the future. I'm ready for it.
You saw everyone on Twitter was chirping you because you were like, this is a joke when we blew that like 19-point lead against Wake. And everyone was like, you got to give Shire kudos. He drew up that last play. It's like he blew a 19-point lead, dude.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not giving you kudos for doing the bare minimum. You should have won that game easily. And it's a good thing we got out there with a win, because the slander after that would have been
that'd been tough.
Yeah.
So do y'all think I was looking at the box score. I watched a little bit of the Duke Pitt game, but obviously wasn't too much to watch. Duke kind of ran away with it pretty quickly. Saw Trevor Keels had 27 on 10 for 15 shooting. Is that exactly what Duke needs going into the tournament? Because I feel like obviously AJ Griffin's emerged, but is Trevor Keels arguably the second best consistent player on the team when he's playing well?
Oh, I mean, it's tough. I think of late after the injury, I think it's been Keels. Keels been probably the most consistent guy on the team. I think even his 5-point game in Syracuse wasn't really his fault. It was just we had Mark Williams, Paolo, and AJ Griffin going off. So you can only give so many people the ball so much. But I don't think that's not what we need from him. I don't think we necessarily need Trevor Keels to put down 25 and 27 and even like 23 just for us to win a national championship. But I think definitely consistent shooting. Obviously, the defense limits his turnovers. I think he gives us 15 a game. Like we'll be in really good position. Like I think yesterday is just more proof that like anybody, any night could give like any team a problem. Whether it's Mark, Paolo, AJ, Trevor, Wendell, even Jeremy at times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw Jeremy Roach. He took over in that Virginia game. He's the reason we stayed in that because nobody wanted to guard Kihei Clark.
100%. And Jeremy, I think that was his highest scoring point total in a win, actually. So, like, it's good to see the type of depth Duke has.
Okay, let's just talk about Saturday then. Let's get into it. I'm assuming the Vegas spread will be around. We talked about it between 6 to 8 points.
I was thinking 8 or 9.
It's going to be a weird game, I feel like. I'm not, you can't be confident going into a Carolina game. Even when Carolina stunk in 2020, you're still not confident because obviously you saw what happened. But and the emotions are going to be ridiculous during this game. The before stuff, these guys are going to have so much pressure on them. There's supposed to be almost 100 players in Duke history to be at Cameron before that game or for that game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts going into the game?
I mean, I'm kind of like going that same wavelength that of the things you just said. I think you just don't know what the rivalry. You like this on paper, this Duke team is supposed to beat this Carolina team by 25. Like they did pretty much the first game, especially at home now. That's what's supposed to happen. But the rivalry has never been about what's supposed to happen. So, I can very well see. I was telling my guy yesterday, who's a diehard UNC fan. He was like, "Oh yeah, you guys will probably blow us out." I was like,
"They're all trying to reverse jinx this, dude."
Yeah,
there's no way Duke. There's no way Duke loses. They can't lose.
Stop.
I was like, first half, I could easily see it be close, very close, back and forth. And I think deep into the second half, I could see Duke pulling away, but I think it's gonna be, kind of blow for blow early, especially because Carolina is playing with this attitude that they're looking for revenge. Not only revenge for the last game, but like just to look like a competent team. Like, it's not often Duke. Yeah, it's not often Duke makes Carolina look like sorry like that, they did the first game.
It's almost like Carolina recently has been playing with nothing to lose, even though they had everything to lose going into the tournament. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm predicting as a Carolina fan, I do feel like it'll be blow for blow at the start of the game. I could even see Carolina going on a little bit of a run, but I doubt either team pulls away, if at all, at least until the very end.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Carter?
I've called every big Duke game right this year.
He has. He's been on the money.
Well, Gonzaga hit it perfectly. I said they were going to shut down Drew Timme and everything. Duke's going to win by 7. You guys pointed out perfectly. It's going to go blow for blow. My concern is does Mark Williams get 2 early fouls? I think that impacts us a lot more than if Baycott got 2 early fouls, to be honest.
Well, it happened to Armando in the first meeting this year. Armando got 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes.
But that didn't affect the game, honestly. You know what affected
I don't
the
think
game
so either.
Was Hubert Davis putting Brady Manick on Mark Williams or
that was unbelievable. The fact that Leaky Black didn't start on Banchero was unbelievable to me. And by the time they put him on him, he did a decent job. It was way too late. Game was over.
Yeah. I do think if they do decide to put a Leaky, they're going to definitely put Leaky on Paolo.
They should.
I think Paolo's coming with a different mindset this game. He has something to prove after, because that was probably, was it his lowest scoring game? Or how many points did he end up with?
I think he had 9.
I thought he had double digits. I could be wrong. AJ Griffin took over the second half, though.
Yeah. Maybe Paolo creeped up with a couple buckets late, but Leaky, he didn't look good against Leaky. So I think he's coming with something.
That's fair. For sure. The one thing that I was going to say, if Carolina is going to have a chance, it literally solely depends on how well Caleb Love plays. If Caleb Love comes out and hits 3 straight 30-footers, we might have a chance. But if he comes out and turns the ball over twice and goes 0 for 5 in the first 6-7 minutes of the game, it might be a 20-point blowout. And I'm not saying that to reverse jinx. I'm being for real.
Yeah, I agree. I think even Baycott, like I've always said, I said before the first matchup, Baycott going off doesn't scare me. It doesn't do anything for me. I think we could blow UNC out if Baycott went out. I mean, Kentucky did it. But if Caleb Love gets going, that's when it gets serious. It becomes a game.
Exactly, because Baycott, it just feels like Baycott's going to get his 20 and 10 regardless. I think he almost had 20 and 10 in the first matchup, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
He started slow. He picked it up. Yeah, well, he got all his points down by 20, so yeah, didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It all revolves around Caleb Love. I mean, that's all it is. And then, because I'm not worried. I mean, I want Leaky Black to shoot. Give Leaky Black the ball every possession.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very tricky because sometimes he'll hit 2 or 3 threes in a game, and then he'll airball the next 2, and you're just like, what's going on?
So I wanted to mention this to you, Zion. Do you think Coach K deserves Coach of the Year in the ACC, or do you think it should go to Wake Forest and Steve Forbes?
I mean, it's so tricky.
Because every year Virginia finished first, or FSU finished first, or Miami finished first, their coach got Coach of the Year. Even if they were good the prior year, it didn't matter. But Coach K, he hasn't won one since what? 01?
I don't even remember.
It's been a long time.
But even let me see. What are the ACC standings right now? Is Wake the 2 seed right now? Oh no, Notre Dame.
Wake's fifth.
Wake is actually fifth. That's where I only it really it's just difficult. I think a lot of the votes will split for sure. Notre Dame, Mike Bray's probably going to get some votes too. But personally, I mean, if we win this on Saturday, I think there's a good argument for Coach K. It's definitely obviously we have the most talented team, not only in the conference, I think in the country. But we've seen even last year, coming back from last year too.
Yeah,
that's a good comeback year. But it's voters fatigue. We see it with LeBron in the NBA.
Yep.
They're not going to vote for Coach K. I just don't see it happening. I think it should happen, but I just don't see it happening.
So Krzyzewski hasn't won since the year 2000 when he won 3 out of the last 4. He won 97, 99, 2000. Hasn't won since then.
And then they got bored.
Yeah. Honestly,
let's give it to somebody else. I think he should.
All right. Let's talk about the NCAA tournament real quick. I don't think there's a team besides. I think Duke has the highest potential out of any team. I think when Duke hits its peak, it's better than any other team in college basketball. That includes Gonzaga. We saw Gonzaga score 115 points on a team like BYU or Santa Clara, whatever. That's meaningless. But I think Duke can hit that peak. Do you genuinely see this team as a lock for the Final Four almost?
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard to say.
Be careful here. Be careful here.
It's always hard.
I'm not saying it's a lock, but because I have this argument with Connor, when the brackets come out that Sunday night, Jay Billis, Seth Greenberg, they're always going to have like 2 teams they all have. And I predicted this year, they're all going to have Kentucky and Kansas for some reason in the Final Four. But I think it's going to be Kentucky and Arizona in every single one of their square brackets.
I think it might be. I low-key think Gonzaga may be one of those locks for them.
I think Gonzaga is going to be in there regardless. But there's always they try to be edgy and they're like, oh, let's throw a 2 seed in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's going to be Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard because even 2019, I would have told you it would have been like a somewhat.
Don't bring that up. So, don't bring that up right now. We're not trying to get sad here.
I mean, it is what it is. But I'm not. I think I've said it all year. I'm not really concerned with the big games. If we play in the tournament. I think if we see a Kansas, if we see a Kentucky in the tournament, I think we're gonna be fine. I'm worried about those games against the mid majors, especially the teams that can run Mark Williams off the floor and play small and shoot the ball. So that's really where I think if we get past the first weekend, I think we could probably lock it in my opinion.
That is exactly what I was going to say, because Duke gets up for these big games. They get up for the Gonzaga games, for the Kentucky games, for these huge,
any game on the
games like that. Exactly. But can they get up for a team like, I don't know, like a Taco Fall, Central Florida, where they almost blew it the Zion year? Can they get up for one of those teams on the second round enough to not blow it? Because I think if they make it past that first weekend, there's a good chance they make a very deep run. But my one worry about this Duke team is losing in the second round.
I agree.
I know.
What also stinks is, and when we go to the ACC tournament, every loss is just a terrible loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every loss is a terrible loss. Whether we lose in the first round to, let's say, Syracuse, or if we lost in the next round to, let's say, Miami, or the championship to Notre Dame, all of those are bad losses. They're not a decent loss because nobody's a top 25 team in the ACC.
And usually it's not like that. Usually the ACC is a lot better. So if you lose in the semifinals or the final, just like, oh, you lost to another top 25 team. So it's not, the end of the world. But this year the ACC is so bad.
Exactly.
You're just hurting yourself. The ACC is hurting itself.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like even for this upcoming tournament, I'm not used to seeing Duke as a 1 seed in the ACC tournament. That's just so rare. But it just speaks volumes. I think Duke was just the only good team this year. And I guess there is still, I think we'll be less penalized if we lose in the ACC final to maybe on a buzzer beater or a 1 possession game. Maybe they'll give us some leeway, but yeah, I think they have to run the table in Brooklyn. I mean, it's essentially 3 games, and the way it's panning out, obviously the first opponent is going to be horrible. But Friday, that UNC game, that is probably going to be UNC if we look at it again, if they're the 4th seed. And then Saturday, I don't know who we play Saturday, but I like our odds. I think it will be the easiest pass we ever had in the ACC tournament.
Wish I could be there this year, but all right, let's move on. Let's talk about the NBA real quick. We talked about this a little bit before the podcast, and you're obviously a big time Nets fan. Steve Nash, childhood hero. Love Steve Nash. Had every Steve Nash jersey ever. Do you like Steve Nash as a coach? You can be honest.
I have mixed emotions on Steve Nash just because I feel like, especially his rookie last season, he was playing with so many different variables. But like at the end of the day, like I feel like if we were healthy, the Nets win the championship. I think even if we didn't have James Harden, if we just had Kyrie and KD, we still beat the Bucks.
If Durant's shoe size was like a half size smaller, I think you guys went 4-1 in the finals against the Suns last year, easily.
Yeah, I think, like, every one of his fans' gripes with him would erases once he wins the championships. But I think he could, like, he's going through the growing pains of being a new coach, and I think that's really what happens early as a new coach. But I mean, I feel like if we're healthy, that's the only thing. That's the only way we can judge him. If we give him a healthy team and he fails, that's a different story. But he hasn't had that opportunity yet, so you got to give him some leeway.
And also, he is in a weird situation this year with the whole Kyrie vaccine thing.
Exactly.
And then also, James Harden was doing basically what he did in Houston. Didn't eat his way out of Brooklyn, but basically did.
Yeah. He was definitely tanking. That was quite obvious with his first 2 games in Philly that this he was tanking 100%.
Do you feel worried at all about, like, the fact that the team in Brooklyn right now, after the Ben Simmons trade, do you think there won't be enough time to get acclimated to each other in that new system? Because by the time Ben Simmons comes back, there'll be less than a month left of the regular season. So do you feel like that's not enough time to get ready for the playoffs as a unit?
A little part of me obviously worries about that, but realistically, I think if we're fully healthy, even factoring maybe a possibility of having Joe Harris too, I think it's just the talent is too much. And I feel like we kind of got a glimpse of it in the playoffs last year. Like, that team had 5, 3, 4 games together fully at full health before.
Yep.
And they were on pace to probably run through the entire East. And we'll see what would have happened in the finals. But, like, I think it might be the same case this year. I think it's an overwhelming amount of talent, and I think we're even deeper this year with obviously Seth Curry now. Shout out Duke, Seth Curry. And guys like Andre Drummond adding to our depth. So I mean, I think if they're healthy, they're going to be a problem for anybody. Nobody wants to play them in the first round. Like,
I agree.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Did you like the Harden Ben Simmons trade?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of I had to warm up to it, but I warmed up to it because I actually knew it was starting to happen. Like, it was starting to spark up before like it came out to the public. I heard some people like talk behind the scenes about it, and I was like, if it happens, I won't be mad. We're getting a 25-year-old guy who is probably better, fits way better in our system than he did in Philly. And he's an all-star. He's one of the best defenders in the league. So I don't think we could have got a better deal out of that. So I mean, if we had to get rid of James Harden, might as well get something back for it. So I'm cool. I was cool with it.
I argued whenever this went down that this is one of the few trades like that involves a true superstar in the NBA that has been, I would argue, a win-win for both sides, because I think Philly got the most they could have for Ben Simmons and James Harden, but also the Nets got back exactly what they needed: defense, playmaking, depth. So I would argue that it was a win-win for both sides in the grand scheme of things. People may say, "Oh, Harden's better than Ben Simmons," which is true, but the Nets did get a larger haul back for him. So I don't know. I was curious. Do you think it was a win-win both ways?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the Philly's been begging for James Harden in the past 3 years. So like they got their guy, and they essentially gave up nothing because Ben Simmons wasn't playing. So like,
yeah, exactly.
You gave up pretty much Seth Curry and Andre Drummond in terms of like your game plan. And the Nets got back those 3 and 2 first-round picks, which will probably be valuable this summer. So I think it was definitely a win for both teams.
Last thing, we'll close on this. Back to Duke. Will you shed a tear in Coach K's last game?
I don't think so. To be honest, I'll be really transparent. I haven't been into the Coach K farewell tour. To be honest, just to be I haven't.
Me either.
I haven't either. Don't worry.
well, you got an excuse, but like it's not hit. It hasn't hit. I don't think it just. I don't know. It hasn't hit me yet, or I'm just not really like. I'm ready to move on. Like realistically, I love Coach K. He's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. He's been the only coach there, so the only coach I know. But I think I'm ready to see the next phase. So I'm not really like in. Maybe Saturday would change. Might change that, especially when you get the ceremonies. But it hasn't hit me yet. So I don't know. We'll see.
If you cry, you have to tweet about it. One tier counts as a cry.
They won't. Well, we'll be doing a post game show after, so maybe you'll see me with dried up tears. But nah,
you get the feels going a little bit.
No, I'll be honest too. I don't think it'll hit until we play that first game at the Champions Classic and we see Shire as the coach, because I don't think it hit me when Roy Williams was gone until that first game. I see Carolina. I'm like, oh, that's weird seeing Hubert Davis on the bench.
Yeah, seeing Roy Williams in the stands, weird sight. Do you think it'll be one of those things where it's like, oh, like you're ready to move on right now, but then like once he's actually gone, you'll be like, I didn't know how good we actually had it. Like if Shire struggles a little bit at first, are you going to be patient?
Yeah, I think I'll be patient, but I mean I feel like Carter said by next season that might be where it hits, like just because it's going to be a weird not seeing him on the bench. But I mean I feel like he's still going to be around the team in some capacity. He's not going to disappear. I mean he said it himself. It'll be good to see him every now and then.
Hey Zion, thanks for coming on. Make sure to check out Crazy Talk Live. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. They do post-game live shows after all the big Duke games. Make sure to check it out after this Saturday, after Duke hopefully whoops Carolina. Hey, thanks again. What?
Before you leave, Zion, I want all three of us to give a quick score prediction, and we're gonna see who's the closest.
A lot of pressure on me, dude.
For Saturday. I'll go first. I'm gonna say I got to go with my heels here, in the unthinkable Carolina 87-83. Talk to me. There it is. Book it.
That's a nice fantasy you have there.
I got to have the hope. I got to keep it going. Keep the dream alive.
Go ahead, Carter. I'll let you go first.
It's gonna be high scoring. I think there's gonna be a lot of fouls too. I'm telling you, it's gonna be an emotional game. Refs are gonna want to keep it tight. I'm going to go because Theo John's getting a flagrant one. I can guarantee that flagrant one for Theo John. I'm going to go 84-71 Duke.
13. Okay.
They're going to cover the spread.
I'll say 82. I'll go 82-70.
Okay.
But it'll be close when they just pull away late.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. Make sure to check out Crazy Talk Live. Follow him on Twitter and everything. Thanks again, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
For having me.